Yo, what's up beautiful people of YouTube? Welcome to Dom's Media Zone. So today's video is all about editing large GoPro files using DaVinci Resolve. So I've been having issues since I bought the new GoPro Hero 11 because the files that come out of the GoPro, especially the 5K and 4K files shot in high resolution, tend to be really big files. The size of the files is really big. So therefore, when I import them into DaVinci Resolve and try edit them on the go, it just shows very laggy. Like video itself skips and lags and it makes it a real nightmare for me to edit. So I've been searching for a solution to this problem, and luckily DaVinci Resolve and GoPro have two things that you can do that will fix this for you. So even if you're on a slower computer, your files should edit just fine after you apply this fix. My computer or laptop is not the slowest in the world. It's got 32 gigs of RAM. It's an i7. So technically it should process pretty well. It's also got a graphics card inside it, but yet still with the footage straight out of the GoPro, it struggles. So this fix I applied took care of all that. There is a bit of work to do before you can apply the fix, which I will show you in this video to come. So if this is something that interests you, stay tuned and enjoy. Alright, so to begin, what I've done is I've taken my GoPro Hero 11, I took it outside and created a couple of short clips that we can use for the purpose of this exercise. Then when I got home, I took the micro SD card, I put it into my computer and I copied the files into a new folder called GoPro Files, which you can see on the screen here. So if I open this folder, these are all the clips I've taken, and as you'll notice, GoPro creates 3 different files for each clip. So you've got the LRV, which is the low resolution file, your MP4, which is the main and big size file, and then you've got your THM, which is a thumbnail file, which is used by the GoPro Quick app. So previously, when I used to work with the GoPro videos, I never really considered this LRV file and THM file as useful, and I used to delete them and just work with the MP4 file. I will show you what that looks like, but for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to use both of these LRV and the MP4 file, and that will speed up our editing process majorly. So the first thing I'm going to show you is my old way of doing things, which is just using the MP4 files, and this is the way that you'll be able to see how jumpy the video files were. So I'm going to just sort by type so I can get just the MP4 files, and I've got DaVinci Resolve open here on the side. So all I'm going to do is drag my MP4 files into DaVinci Resolve, and I'm going to say, do you want to change the frame rate? Yes, change it to match the video files. And now they are loading into DaVinci Resolve, and this takes a few seconds. Alright, now that I've got my files here, what I'll do is I'll jump into the editing tab and just copy them all into the timeline, just paste them all like that. Just to show you, I am going to mute this so that we don't hear the volume. And then if I go, you can see already how jumpy this footage looks. This was filmed in 5K, so it is really large files, and my computer, even though it's pretty good, I've got 32 gigabytes of memory, it's an i7 processor, so it is pretty decent laptop, but it still finds the GoPro footage very difficult to process, and it's really jumpy. As you can see here, it jumps and stops, so it makes the whole editing process really sluggish and really difficult and frustrating. So that's why I went searching for a different way so that we can edit this process without upgrading a computer. So now let's do that. Let's show you how to do this to make your life a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove all these files here. Alright, now that my files are removed, this process requires a little bit of manual work, unfortunately, but it's worth it. So what I'm going to do is, in my GoPro files here, I'm just going to create 2 new folders. So I'm going to create a new folder called low resolution and another folder called high resolution. Alright, I've got my 2 folders here. So what I want to do is I want to paste all my high resolution videos into the high resolution folder over here. So I'm just going to copy them into here. Just Yeah, there we go. They're all there. And then I'm going to take all these LRV files, which are the low resolution files, and copy them into the low resolution folder. So I'm just going to copy them over and they should be copied already. Now I'm ignoring these thumbnail files. We're not going to need to use them, so I can get rid of those. So I'm going to close that window and then I'm going to open my high res and my low res side by side. And I'm just going to change the view so it's easier. So if I do this, so the only bit of manual work here is, as you can see, these files here are named GX followed by a number. These are the high res ones, and my low res ones, GoPro names them GL followed by the number. So what we've got to do, we've got to make sure that the names match exactly. So this is GL, this is GX, they got to match. So I'm going to rename all the low res ones to GX. And then also what I'm going to do, the extension at the back, the LRV, DaVinci Resolve won't be able to recognize that. So I'm going to make these MP4 the same like the high resolution photos. So basically both files have to be named exactly the same and both files have to have the same extension at the back. All right, so let me start renaming these files here. So I'm going to just do the first one and then I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch me rename files. But here we go. So GL becomes GX. And then the extension at the back becomes MP4. And it asks you, are you sure it might become unusable? Just say yes, don't worry about that. And I'm going to do the remaining files now. All right, as you can see, I'm done renaming the files now. So the files on the left, which are the high res, match the files on the right, which are the low res. So both folders have the same set of file names. So let's go ahead and jump back into DaVinci Resolve over here. Now, while we're in DaVinci Resolve, it's important to point out that you have to be in this tab on the very left, which is called the media tab, to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to link the high resolution files to our low resolution files so that we can edit them quicker. But to do that, we have to be in this media tab over here. So once we're in the media tab, what we're going to do is we're just going to import our high resolution files as we would normally. So don't get mixed up because they both now have the same names. So it might be easier to make a mistake. So take your high resolution files, import them. We can actually close the folders in the background now. So we've got our high resolution files imported here. And what we want to do now is just select them all, add them to the media pool so that we can use them. Do we want to change the project frame rate? Yes, let's change it. So as you can see, we've got all our high resolution files down here. So I'm going to now highlight them all, right click on one of them, and then find something that says relink Proxy Media or link Proxy Media. Now I've seen for some reason different versions of DaVinci Resolve. Some of them have link Proxy Media, some of them have relink Proxy Media. So just click on that and it will now ask you where your low resolution files are. So that's what we've got to look for now. So here's my folder with low resolution. So I'm just going to select this folder. You can see you can't see anything in there. Don't worry about that. Just say select folder. So there we go. And now it's done the linking. So that's as easy as it is. And now if we go back to our editing page, you can see all my videos here. And if I drag them onto the timeline, it's still muted. Yes, it is. If I press play, look how smoothly that's running now. I mean, I can drag this. It runs without any glitches, without any problems, and it will make my life in editing this video a lot easier. Yes, you will be able to see a lower resolution when editing because it's now using the low res media files to let you preview it. That's why it's running so quick. But when you do export your video, it will automatically use the high res file. So when exporting, when you're done with your project and when you want to go to this export tab, it will automatically use the high res file for you. So it's really, really useful and it makes your life a lot easier and you can finally edit your 5K footage, 4K footage pretty much on any computer. Now keep in mind if your computer is really slow when you're exporting because it's using the high res video, it will still take some time. So this will not make any changes to the export times, but it will help you with the whole editing process to make your life much easier. All right, now one more thing to mention is if you do not have those LRV or low resolution files that your GoPro created, say you deleted them for whatever reason, but you still got some footage you want to edit and you can't use this method because you've deleted the low res files, there is a way in DaVinci Resolve to generate your own low res files. It is a little bit more complicated and it takes a bit more time and space, but I will go ahead and show that to you as well. So I'm just going to delete all these. Alright, so if you only had your high resolution media files, what we're going to do is we're going to jump back here to this media tab, and then I'm going to take our high resolution files, say pretend we don't have the L or V files. I'm just going to copy them back into this media tab over here. And once again, what we'll have to do is select them all and drag them all to this media pool and just give it a few seconds. Alright, once they're in the media pool, what you could do is select them all, right click on them and then click generate proxy media. Now what this will do, it will create its own low resolution file for you in DaVinci Resolve. So you can do it this way. It does take time. So if I click here, let me go ahead and click, you'll see here it's going to take a while. So it's going to be on 0% and it's going to carry on, tell you how many minutes remaining. So it's still calculating. It can take quite a while depending on how many files you have and what the size of them is. So here for all my short clips, it's about 10 minutes. I'm just going to cancel this because I want to show you where it stores this media. So keep in mind that if you generate your own proxy media in DaVinci Resolve, it will store those files on your computer and it creates rather large files on your PC. So make sure after you're done with your project, go into that folder and delete them. So how to find out where it stores them? Down in the bottom here, you've got the setting gear. So I'm just going to hit on that preferences gear or settings gear. And if you scroll down on the master settings, you'll find here working folders, and this is where the proxy gets stored. So you can see here I've got my own folders where I specified where it must store proxy media. There's your cache file location, gallery stills location. So all your proxy and your cache gets stored here. So when you're done with your project, just go into that file here and delete whatever proxy media you've created. Otherwise, you'll find that over time, those folders will get filled up, your computer drives will get full, and you won't know why and what's causing it. This has happened to me before. That's how I've learned the hard way. So that's another way of doing it. And once it generates the proxy media, basically, you can just carry on in the edit tab and paste them like we did earlier, and it should work super smooth. Alright, and thanks for watching. I do hope this video helped you out. I hope it made your life a bit easier when it comes to editing your videos. If it did, do give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to this channel. Hopefully I'll have many more videos to come in the future. So as always, stay safe, take care, and goodbye.